Vystopia is the experience of being vegan in a seemingly uncaring, non-vegan world. And it's
Seemingly.
seemingly, yeah. I mean, that's the
That was
thing.
so
And
sweet, Adam, that you said seemingly.
because we can debate, I mean, like it seems like in a way people care, but yet they're putting their money behind, this
Totally.
atrocity that, yeah. So yeah, it's hard, and it's hard when you're out there in the streets, you're doing what you can to change the world, and you don't see an immediate impact, and you wonder, like, what is going on? So, the I've personally have really struggled with that feeling of distress and feeling like I live in a dystopia. And so, yeah, I just think that activists should take care of themselves. And one way I do that is by, of course, volunteering at an animal sanctuary. A Mockingbird Farm Animal Sanctuary has been a great way to connect to the animals who have gotten out of the food system and get to live out their lives in peace. And I feel like people need to practice that kind of self-care, find those avenues of, being able to deal with these kind of negative emotions and channel that into positive. And I mean, cuddling a turkey cures all of my ills, it feels
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Being around the animals really helps you get through it and renews your spirit. What do you think that sanctuaries also like are activism like because there's been a lot of talk in the movement about whether they're really because they're expensive and
Hmm.
cost a lot of money to maintain them and a lot of movement resources go into them. Do you think that they are effective in creating change, not just in helping us get through the night?
I do think that they're just an important piece of the puzzle, that it requires all sorts of different avenues for change. And sanctuaries, I mean, we need a place to, if we believe in open rescue, we definitely need a place to bring the
Sure.
animals who we rescue. So sanctuaries are important for that reason. And but just in and of themselves, like they are a way, like for example, this weekend, my church, we have an animal ministry at First Universalist Church, and we're bringing folks to Mockingbird for a tour. And so we're bringing people who might not have a background in animal rights. They get to meet these animals. We get to talk to them, and not only are we potentially helping people on a path towards a more peaceful diet, but maybe we can get them out on the streets as well for the upcoming protest against Marshall BioResources or something like that. So it's part of a puzzle that I just think is important. And I think we have seen a lot of funding like this effective altruism. Some of that money that used to go to animal sanctuaries might be going more towards plant-based meats or things like that. And I do think that plant-based meats are important, but I think, like I said, it's they're part of a puzzle. And if we have the plant-based meat, but we don't have the ethical background of why people should be switching over, then what does it really get us other than maybe a temporary curiosity that people
I
have?
mean,
Where
right, or the media and the arts, which effective altruism is not so effective in funding because they
Yep.
don't see it. I mean, where would we be without that? Where would your campaign have been without media? I love Mockingbird, by the way. I've interviewed Jonelle for WXXI, and I know her twin sister Jasmine, who I adore, and just the sanctuary. They do incredible work there. And you just mentioned Marshall BioResources, which is a massive breeder of beagles, cats, pigs, and ferrets in upstate New York. So I'd like to just go back to that for a moment. Can you tell people a little bit more about that and why it's something you're passionate about?
Yeah, so Marshall, they've been around, oh gosh, like 100 years, I think. They have been around for a long time. And yeah, I think they since the 1930s. They, yeah, so they are, I believe they are the largest breeder of beagles for science in America. They currently have 26,000 beagles there. And they are just 45 minutes outside of Rochester. They also breed ferrets for sales at pet stores. They breed cats and pigs, but beagles are their main moneymaker. And yeah, they are, I mean, if you look at them from the outside, I mean, they are set behind hills and trees and things like that. So they're kind of obscure, but they look just like a factory farm, just like any other factory farm. But there are beagles inside, which, you know, when I first went vegan, I definitely wanted to focus on chickens because they are, you know, they're very, they have hard lives in America, in the world, chickens in general, and there's so many of them. And beagles, you know, the beagle people already love beagles, right? But now, as a more seasoned activist, I recognize that beagles are a great avenue for people who not they might not care about chickens yet, but they definitely care about dogs. There's a lot of people who love dogs, who love beagles in particular, and you know, those are the kind of folks we're recruiting to take on Marshall BioResources. And they, you know, they're right now they are losing funding on a federal level because of in general, science funding is being pulled. So Marshall doesn't have as many places to sell their beagles. So they are on the ropes. And you know, right now our strategy is protest and you know, some other related strategies of talking to you know, suppliers or people who you know, distribute Marshall products, because they also have a manufacturing capability, and they're making like cages for animals, things like that are sold at pet stores. So we're, you know, we're kind of looking at the whole business in general, but you know, right now our goal is to get out there in front of Marshall, and you know, we're holding up signs. We are you know, and the thing that's heartbreaking to me is that they work with the local school system to bring kids in to work in the facility. So there's a school bus that pulls up every day and drops students off. And so at least the students see us when we're out there, you know, and we get a lot of support from the local community, a surprising number of thumbs up in the area, because it seems like even the neighbors around this facility are opposed to what they're doing inside.
How do you like? It's always so difficult to mount a protest against a business that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Like, are there good places you can mount this protest, or is it? I mean, if I know vaguely where it is. It's not a heavily populated area. Is it like, do you get? I mean, the school bus itself makes it sort of worth it, but do you get a lot of traction?
We don't, you know, there's zero foot traffic, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's
I mean, we're in the middle of the country here, like,
yeah,
just. And
it
you
is a
mentioned like
major.
it's a big like it's kind of behind closed gates.
Yeah, it's a big facility, and it is on a road that connects a major route 104 up to the Lake Ontario. So we do get a lot of traffic going by, and then this coming week, where it's apple harvest season, so we're expecting more people in the area, potentially apple picking, things like that. But you know,
The apple picking is a big deal here up in upstate New York. I can assure you all.
So yeah, we're hoping to get more eyes on our protest, and also hoping to draw the media out. We got a
Yeah,
little bit of media
yeah.
coverage last year, and you know, yeah, it's great to have that out there. But you know, it's going to take a lot more than just protests to bring Marshall down. It's, you know, it's going to be a long fought battle.